Are we live? We live? Well, this is Lucas McFarland. This is a special Wednesday one. I couldn't do it yesterday because I had a huge test. We'll be back next Tuesday. Yep, we'll be back the 11th next Tuesday. We'll do it the 18th. These are my upcoming ones. But New Year's Eve, Christmas week, I think I'm on vacation, so I'm going to try to do it on the 26th if I can get access to it. If not, I'll just make my predictions online. And this, I'll do a morning. Excuse me. I don't have a voice today. Sorry. And then I'll do mine January 2nd after New Year's or so, or thinking early morning one because I gotta go back to work. And if you guys know a day job around here, that'd be great. Let me know. I'm looking for an 8 to 4, 9 to 5 job. That'd be great. I'm looking at 8 hours a week or so, not four. So I'm trying to make the same money as I do. So if you guys know one, that'd be great. Some basketball matchups tonight. Hartford's playing at third ranked Duke at 7. VMI's playing at Virginia Tech at 7. Illinois is at Buffalo at 7. Ohio State's at Illinois, 19th ranked at 7. Arkansas Pine Bluffs at 13th ranked Texas Tech at 7:30. 8:30 Temple's at 21st ranked Villanova. UNC Wellington's at North Carolina at 14th ranked North Carolina ESPN 2. 24th ranked Nebraska's at Minnesota and BTN. And tonight at 11, Washington is at first ranked Gonzaga. So just wanted to go over some stuff. Tonight's NBA games. The Nuggets are 16-7 at the 12-12 Magic. The Golden State Warriors at the Cavs. That's a rematch of the finals at 7-16 at 5-18. 7:30 at 15-7 Oklahoma City's at 8-17 the Nets. 8 on ESPN. 17-8 76 are at the 25 Raptors. Also 8 o'clock 16-7 Clippers are at the 13-9 Grizzlies. At 8 o'clock the 13-8 Pistons are at the 15-7 Bucks. Also at 10:30 the 11-13 Spurs are at the 14-9 Lakers. That's on ESPN tonight. Some big MLB deals that happened this week. Robinson Cano and Edwin Diaz are now they got traded from Seattle to the Mets. Segura of the Seattle Mariners also got traded to the Phillies. The big ones today, the last 2 days, Patrick Corbin got traded to the Nationals, and then a big one today, Paul Goldschmidt got traded from the Diamondbacks to the Cardinals. So that's huge, huge MLB trade news that has happened the last few days. Wanted to go over some college football scores and NFL scores. We'll review the head coaching standings after or so. Just wanted to go over. It might be less time today because of the. We'll go over the bowl schedule a little bit too during this. I'll get into that later. Actually, I'll do it after all the college football stuff gets done. We got 17th ranked Utah, 9-3 playing 9-3, 11th ranked Washington in the Pac-12 championship in Santa Clara Friday night. The winner goes and plays in the Rose Bowl. This is a low-scoring game. It's 3-0 Washington at the half. They wound up winning 10-3. Um, there was only a pass touchdown to one. Jake Browning was 21-33, 187 yards, and Myles Gaskin of Washington had 23 carries, 71 yards. No touchdowns, but Washington won 10-3. They moved to 10-3 overall, and Utah loses to 9-4 overall. The other Friday night game was Northern Illinois, 7-5, losing 2 in a row, coming in at 10-2 Buffalo. Buffalo was up 29-10 late in the game. And I used Marcus Childers was 21-33 for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. As NIU came back to win 30-29. They moved to 8-5 overall. Buffalo was 10-3 overall. Saturday's games determined the playoff, especially this one. First ranked Bama against fourth ranked Georgia in the SEC title game in Atlanta. It's a championship rematch. Georgia was up 28-14 late, and then Tua got hurt, and then Jalen Hurts came in, had a phenomenal game. After getting benched in the title last year, which was a plot twist, they moved to 35-28. Bama wins, and from Josh Jacobs, 8 carries, 83 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Waddle, 4 receptions, 113 yards and a touchdown. But Jalen Hurts coming in magical, 2 late touchdowns. They wound up winning 35-28. They were down 28-21 late in the fourth, but wound up winning 35-28 to get to the Final Four. This was to determine who was in the Final Four. But Bama's 13-0 overall. Georgia's now 11-2 overall. Clemson was 12-0 playing against 7-5 Pittsburgh and Charlotte for the ACC championship. Big win. They only won 42-10. Trevor Lawrence is 12-24 for 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. Travis Etienne had 12 carries, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. And a big win for Clemson. They wound up winning 42-10 to clinch a Final Four berth along with Notre Dame. They didn't play this week. This is a big one. 14th ranked 9-3 Texas was at 11-1 5th ranked Oklahoma. This game was a shootout. Oklahoma's down 10-3 late. Wound up being down, I think, yeah. Let's see, they were down 7-3. They were down, man, that was a big one. Oklahoma wound up winning 39-27. Kyler Murray should be the Heisman frontrunner at the moment. 25-39, 379 yards, 3 touchdowns. Oklahoma was tied at 27. They kicked a field goal, but Texas got the ball on a fumble late in the fourth. But then the first play after that, Elger got sacked in the end zone. That kind of helped OU. They were up 32-27. They got a late touchdown. They won 39-27 to clinch a Final Four berth. That's awesome for them. 21st ranked. This is in Dallas, by the way. 21st ranked 8-4 Northwestern was at 11-1, playing 11-1 Ohio State. 6th ranked in Indianapolis. Ohio State won 45-24. Dwayne Haskins with 34-41 for 499 yards, 5 touchdowns. Look out for him in the draft. He's a Heisman candidate as well. Ohio State won 45-24. Not enough to get to the Final Four, though. Big win for Ohio State. Memphis was 8-4 at 11-0, 8th ranked Central Florida. Memphis was up 24-7 in the first, 38-21 at the half, but UCF was down 17 twice, and then they won 56-41. Dale Henderson, big game for Memphis, 16 carries, 210 yards, 3 touchdowns. Derek Schnelson of UCF, 4 receptions, 120 yards. Their backup quarterback got hurt and came in late in the game, though. If UCF would have lost, this game would have surely been for the best group of five team. 10-2, 25th ranked Fresno State. Played 22nd ranked 10-2 Boise State at Boise. That was at their home stadium. It snowed a little bit, but Fresno won 19-16 a late touchdown in overtime. Marcus McMaryion was 20-32, 170 yards and a touchdown. As Boise won 19-16. Non-conference matchups except the Sun Belt Championship. But Drake was 7-3 at 7-4, 23rd ranked Iowa State to make up game. Iowa State came back to win 27-24. Drake was up 24-20 in the third. David Montgomery of Iowa State, 33 carries, 145 yards, and 2 touchdowns, as Iowa State won 27-24. The Sun Belt Championship, 7-5 Louisiana Region Cage. This is the first annual Sun Belt Championship against 9-2 Appalachian State. Last game for Scott Sheffield before he moved to Louisville. We'll get into the coaching hires later, too. Appalachian State won 30-19. They moved to 10-2 overall. Louisiana moves to 7-6. Doriante Evans, 17 carries, 111 yards. For App State, they won 30-19. 3-8 East Carolina was at 8-3 NC State. NC State won 58-3. As Reggie Galapsi, 24 carries, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Ryan Finley, NFL draft candidate, 32 of 44, 49 yards. NC State's now 9-3 overall. They moved, and East Carolina moves to 3-9 overall. Akron was 4-7. This is a makeup game at a 6-5 South Carolina. Oh man, big game for South Carolina. They won 28-3. Samuel had 3 touchdowns for South Carolina. Brian Edwards had 5 receptions, 109 yards, and 1 touchdown. Jake Bentley was 14-27 for 199 yards and 3 touchdowns. As South Carolina moves to 7-5 overall, and Akron moves to 4-8. Another makeup game, 8-3 Marshall was at 5-6 Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech won 41-20. Ryan Willis was 18-26 for 312 yards, 4 touchdowns. VT moves to bowl eligibility. They moved to 6-6 overall. Marshall's 8-4. The final conference championship was the CUSA won 9-3 UAB. 2 years after their program got shut down, won the CUSA championship. Middle Tennessee moved to 8-4. They got caught with 12 men off the line that cost them the game for a punt. Spencer Brown was 31 carries, 156 yards, and a touchdown. UAB's nosed at 10-3 overall. And Middle Tennessee was 8-5. UAB won 27-25. The other last two games of the week. 4-6. Milford State was at 5-6. Liberty on a big game for Liberty. They won 52-17. Matthews of Liberty with 14 carries, 151 yards, 4 touchdowns. Stanford was 7-4. At 7-4 California. Last game of the week. It was a makeup game for the Wildfires. Cal won 23-13. As J.J. Whiteside, 5 receptions, 109 yards. K.J. Costello at 18-29 for 237 yards and 1 touchdown. And Stanford moves to 8-4 overall, and Cal's 7-5. Stanford's on 23-13. Next week's matchup, there's only one of them for next week. That's Army Navy. I'll make my predictions now. Or Navy Army. This is in Philadelphia. Navy's 3-9. Army's 9-2. It's turned the tables to Army. I think Army gets their 10th win overall. Big one for them. I like Army in this one. Big. Let's go over the college football hires. Or the college football coaching hires. There was big news in that this week. A lot of hires this week. There's still 5 spots available right now. The coaching carousel. I'll look into Ohio State, the big one. Urban Meyer retired. Ryan Day's going to take over after the Rose Bowl. Let's see. Oh, this was last year. I want 2018. Nope, nope, nope. I accidentally hit that one. That's a big one for Ohio State right now. I can't believe Urban Meyer retired. I know he has the cyst in the brain. I don't know if he's going to be back or not right now. That'd be a bummer. I think he's a really good coach, but we'll see what Ohio State does. Let's see. Yep. So Colorado, Mel Tucker out of yeah, Mel Tucker, defensive coordinator for Bama. Oh, whoops! I keep hitting this button. I don't know why that keeps happening. Mel Tucker, the new coach of Colorado. Mike McAtee got fired. DC for Alabama is the new coach for Colorado. Mike Locksley, he was a tenured coach at New Mexico. He's the OC. He was Alabama. So Mike Locksley is the coach for Maryland. DJ Durkin got fired for infamous reasons. Ohio State Ryan Day for Urban Meyer. Will Healy's the new coach for Charlotte. Brad Lambert got fired. Bobby Petrino got fired for Louisville. Scott Satterfield of Appalachian State's their new head coach. Mark Whipple for UMass got fired. Walt Bell is their new head coach. Scotty Montgomery of East Carolina got fired. Mike Houston is now the new head coach. John Bonamigo for Central Michigan got fired. And Jim McElwain's back in the coaching game. He's the new Central Michigan head coach. Texas Tech's Cliff Kingsbury got fired. He's the new OC for USC. Matt Wells is the new head coach for Texas Tech. Big hire there. Everett Wilders got fired for Texas State. Jake Spatfield is the new head coach for Texas State. Mike Jinks for Bowling Green got fired. Scott Lawford is Auburn. Offensive coordinator is now Bowling Green's head coach. Larry Fedora got fired for North Carolina. Mac Brown's back in the coaching game. He's back in his second stint in North Carolina. Mike Sanford for Western Kentucky got fired. Tyson Helton is the new head coach for Western Kentucky. David Beaty's got fired for Kansas. Les Miles is the new head coach. Kansas State's Bill Snyder's retired. They're still looking for a coach. Akron, Terry Bowden got fired. Georgia Tech retired. They're still looking for a coach, Paul Johnson. And Turner Gill retired for Turner Gill. Yeah, he used to be Buffalo's coach. He's Louisville or Liberty's coach now. Those are the only big hires at the moment. I'm looking at the bowl schedules for right now. Whoops, Daisy. I just want the whole bowl schedule, if that's all right. That they were announced on Sunday, essentially the Final Four. We'll go over all the matchups. I'll make my predictions next week. I'm just going over the bowl matchups. It all starts on the 15th with the New Mexico Bowl at 2 between North Texas and Utah State. That's on ESPN in New Mexico. The Nation Cure Bowl at 2:30. This is in Orlando. Tulane's playing Louisiana on CBS Sports Network at 2:30 that day. 3:30 the Mitsubishi Motors Las Vegas Bowl. Fresno State's playing Arizona State at 3:30 on ABC in Las Vegas. At 5:30 in Montgomery, the Wade.com Media Chameleon Bowl. Georgia Southern's playing Eastern Michigan on ESPN at 5:30. And finally, the R+L Carriers Bowl, the 15th that day, in New Orleans in the Superdome at 9 on ESPN. Middle Tennessee's playing Appalachian State. We'll make our predictions next week. At 7 o'clock on December 18th night, Tuesday night, UAB's playing Northern Illinois at 7 p.m. on ESPN in the Shara Brownie Boca Raton Bowl. At 9, also Wednesday, December 19th, the DXL Frisco Bowl in Frisco, Texas at 8 p.m. on ESPN. San Diego State's playing Ohio. And the Thursday, December 20th, the Bad Boys Gasparilla Bowl. Marshall is playing South Florida at 8 p.m. in Tampa Bay at the Buccaneers Stadium. 2 games on Friday. 12:30 in the Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl at 12:30 on ESPN. FIU's playing Toledo. Famous Idaho Potato Bowl at 4 p.m. in Boise, Idaho. Western Michigan's playing BYU at 4 p.m. on ESPN. The Saturday matches, I might be on a plane when this happens. Jared Birmingham Bowl. Memphis is playing Wake Forest at noon on ESPN and Legion Field. Might also be on a plane for this one. Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Houston's playing Army at 3:30 on ESPN in Fort Worth. At 7 p.m., the Dollar General Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. Buffalo's playing Troy that night. 10:30 in the SoFi Hawaii Bowl. Louisiana Tech's playing Hawaii at 10:30 on ESPN at Aloha Stadium. Then there's not a bowl game for 4 days because of Christmas and NFL games. The Serafo First Responder Bowl at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas at 1:30 on ESPN. Boston College is playing Boise State day after Christmas. 5:15, the Whitland Bowl in Detroit Ford Field at 5:15 on ESPN. Minnesota's playing Georgia Tech. The Cheez-It Bowl at Chase Field in Phoenix, where the Diamondbacks play. California's playing TCU at 9 p.m. The Thursday games, December 27th, 1:30 on ESPN at the Shreveport, Louisiana. Walk-Ons Independence Bowl. Temple's playing Duke at 1:30 on ESPN. The New Era Pinstripe Bowl, 5:15 on ESPN, where the Yankees play at Yankee Stadium in New York. Miami's playing Wisconsin, a rematch of the Orange Bowl. Two disappointing teams there at 5:15 on ESPN. Baylor and Vanderbilt, Academy Sports Outdoors Texas Bowl at 9 p.m. on ESPN. NRG Stadium, Houston owns it. Baylor plays Vanderbilt. The Friday matchups, the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl on Friday, December 28th at 1:30 on ESPN. Purdue's playing Auburn at 1:30 on ESPN in Nashville. 5:15, that's would be a shootout. Camping World Bowl in Orlando. West Virginia's playing Syracuse. The Valero Alamo Bowl at 9 p.m. Iowa State's playing Washington State at 9 p.m. in San Antonio. The first of the big New Year's Six Bowls happened December 29th. Florida's playing Michigan at noon on ESPN in Atlanta. Mercedes-Benz Stadium where the Falcons play. The Belk Bowl, not a New Year's Six Bowl. South Carolina's playing Virginia at noon in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium where the Panthers play in the Belk Bowl. The Nova Loans Arizona Bowl, not a New Year's Six Bowl at 1:15 Arizona Stadium. Arkansas State, Nevada. The Big Final Four playoffs. One's the Cotton Bowl at 4 p.m. Second-ranked Clemson's playing third-ranked Notre Dame at 4 p.m. in Arlington, Texas at AT&T Stadium. Big winner. I'm trying to go this one. I'm going to be in Florida when this happens the last night at 8 p.m. at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida in the Orange Bowl. First-ranked Bama's playing fourth-ranked Oklahoma at 8 p.m. That's the big one, I think, for there. The New Year's Eve Bowls, the Military Bowl is playing there. Cincinnati's playing Virginia Tech at noon on ESPN in Indianapolis, Maryland. The Sun Bowl at 2 p.m. on CBS in El Paso. Stanford's playing Pittsburgh. The Red Box Bowl at 3 o'clock on Fox. Michigan State's playing Oregon. The Ozone Liberty Bowl at 3:45 on ESPN in Memphis. Missouri's playing Oklahoma State. And two games at night on New Year's Eve, San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl. Northwestern's playing Utah at 7 p.m. on FS1 in San Diego. And the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, this is at night for the first time. NC State's playing Texas A&M at 7:30 in Jacksonville. And the last games on New Year's Day, there's a few of them. Mississippi State's playing Iowa at noon on ESPN2 in Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay. That's the Outback Bowl, the VRBO Searchers Bowl in Orlando. There's three bowl games in Orlando at Camping World Stadium. Kentucky's playing Penn State at 1 p.m. on ABC. Another New Year's Six Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl. 11th ranked LSU's playing 8th ranked Central Florida at 1 p.m. on ESPN in Glendale, Arizona. That's the Fiesta Bowl, PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. And the last two games are the big New Year's Six Bowls. The last game for Urban Meyer in the Rose Bowl. 9th ranked Washington's playing 6th ranked Ohio State at 5 p.m. on ESPN in the Rose in Pasadena. And finally, the last bowl, the All-State Sugar Bowl. 15th ranked Texas and versus 5th ranked Georgia. 8:45 on ESPN, Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. I'll go over my predictions next week, and I'll give you my preview of my 60-18 playoff if it could happen. And I'll give you my best matchups that I like for next week and my overall predictions next week for right now. Now I wanted to go over the NFL standings or so. Or the NFL, it was upset Sunday for week 13 last week, including Thursday, almost Monday. Some big injuries that happened too, and big upsets that happened that stunned me. 10-1 New Orleans was at 6-5 Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys won 13-10. Dak Prescott was 24-28 for 249 yards and a touchdown. Zeke Elliott had the only touchdown of the game for Dallas. Dallas is up 13-0 at halftime. Then New Orleans came roaring back in the third, down 13-10. Cowboys won 13-10. They moved to 7-5. Sole leaders of the NFC East, and the Saints are now 10-2. Big one here, 6-5 Baltimore. I thought this would be an upset. At 4-7 Atlanta, it wasn't. Lamar Jackson got hurt mid-game. RG3 came in. Joe Flacco's still out. Baltimore won 26-16. As Gus Edwards had 21 carries, 82 yards. A big game. Lamar Jackson had a rushing touchdown. A concussion injury. He came back late in the game. They're the sole second wildcard spot in the AFC. Ravens won 26-16. They moved to 7-5 overall. The Falcons moved to 4-8 overall. AJ Green's out for the year with a toe injury. First start for Jeff Driscoll. Broncos were 5-6 going in against 5-6 Cincinnati. Denver won 24-10. Philip Lindsay, big game. He's going to be a starting running back next year. 19 carries, 157 yards, and 2 touchdowns. As Denver moves to 6-6 overall, Cincinnati's now 5-7. They're now the best record in the NFL. 10-1 Rams are up to 4-7 Lions. They struggled early in the game. Todd Gurley, 23 carries, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rams won 30-16. They moved to 11-1, best record overall, and the Lions are now 4-8 overall. Tough stretch. I wasn't upset there, but it was close early. The Rams had trouble getting going. They were only up 13-3 at the half. This was an upset game that got Mike McCarthy fired. 2-9 Arizona was at 4-6-1 Green Bay. Green Bay hasn't lost at home all year. St. Gonzalez had a 44-yard game-winning field goal with 141 left in the game, and then Mason Crosby missed the game-tying field goal as the Arizona Cardinals get their first win outside beating the 49ers. They won 20-17. David Johnson, 20 carries, 69 yards. He got going. But Mike McCarthy got fired for the Packers. That's a breaking story. Like, a few hours after the game at 7 o'clock, I remember that happened. I was shocked. But he hasn't really done much with that team this season, so they're looking for a new guy. Not really an upset, but the Bills could have won it. Josh Allen threw a late game touchdown to Charles Clay. He missed it, dropped it. And the 4-7 Bills were at the 5-6 Miami Dolphins. Excuse me. Dolphins won 21-17 with a late Tannehill touchdown. They moved to 6-6. Buffalo moves to 4-8. Josh Allen, this kid can run and pass the ball. He was 18-33, 231 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 9 carries for 135 yards. That's about a total of 366 total yards altogether. He's a guy to look out for. That's a shout out there. Miami was 6-6 back in the playoff picture. Buffalo's 4-8. These are some of the upsets this week. There were stunned 3 of them at 1 o'clock. 8-3 Chicago is at the 3-8 Giants right now. Oh man, this game was a shootout. Went to overtime. It's 27-all. We had a rush touchdown by a defensive tackle. Oh my goodness, it was awesome. Aldrich Rose had a 44-yard field goal for the Giants. Saquon Barkley, big game. 24 carries, 125 yards. Tariq Cohen had 12 receptions, 156 yards. Oh man, it was a crazy game. The Giants won 30-27. They moved to 4-8 overall, and the Bears take a hit in the playoff picture. They moved to 8-4 overall. That was at New York. Panthers were 6-5 at the 4-7 Buccaneers. Jameis Winston threw for 2 touchdowns, had 249 yards for the Bucks. They were up, 17-7 at the half. They went up win 24-17. Big game for him. Chris Godwin of Tampa Bay, 5 receptions, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Tampa Bay moves to 5-7. Carolina's lost 4 in a row. They're 6-6 now. This is another upset. This was a boring game. Jacksonville won 6-0 against the Colts. 6-0. Indy was 6-5. Jacksonville was 3-8. Man, big game for Carlos Hyde. 13 carries, 36 yards. Jacksonville dominates Indy. That was a disappointment for me. I'm an Indy fan. Jacksonville won 6-0. They moved to 4-8. Indy moves to 6-6 overall. 4-6-1 Cleveland was at 8-3 Houston. Houston was up 26 at the half. Wound up winning 29-13. They won 9 straight. They were Lamar Miller 19 carries, 103 yards. Houston won. They're 9-3 now. Cleveland's 4-7-1. This is almost an upset too. 3-8 the Jets are at the 5-6 Titans. Jets are up 16-6, 19-6 at one point. Titans wound up winning 26-22. Marcus Mariota was 20-35 for 282 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tennessee moves to 6-6. Jets moved to 3-9 overall. Chiefs and Raiders had a shootout. Chiefs were 9-2. Raiders were 2-9. As the Chiefs wound up winning 40-33. Mahomes was 23-38. 295 yards, 4 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt's off the team for beating somebody. So Spencer Ware stepped up with a touchdown late in the game. Travis Kelce, 12 receptions, 168 yards, and 2 touchdowns. As the Chiefs wound up winning 40-33. Big one at 4 o'clock was 6-4-1 Vikings at the 8-3 Patriots. Patriots they win 24-10. They moved to 9-3 overall. 6-5-1 Minnesota. Tom Brady, 24-32, 311 yards and a touchdown and a rush. Bill Belichick gets his 250th win overall. 2-9 San Francisco is at 6-5 Seattle. Russell Wilson, big game. Oh man, he had 3 first half touchdowns. Seattle won 43-16. They moved to 7-5 overall. And the 49ers moved to 2-10 overall. Some questionable calls, especially in the Indy game. There was an issue if he was out of bounds or not with 2 seconds left, but the clock kept rolling. This game was controversial. 8-3 Chargers at the 7-3-1 Steelers Sunday night. This is a flex game. Steelers were up 23-7 at the half. Chargers came roaring back with a late touchdown and a punt return. They tie at 23 overall late in the game. Oh man, it was a big one. 30-23, 30-30. One of the touchdowns for the Chargers, the only one in the first quarter. There was a guy that jumped, but the refs didn't call it. But the Chargers got a late touchdown anyways. It was that helped the Chargers. I think should have been a flag. It was 30-30 overall. Went to overtime, but the Steelers kept jumping off sides 3 times in a row, and Chargers kept getting closer and closer. Kicked the game-winning field goal. Michael Bailey a 29-yard field goal. They won 33-30. Philip Rivers was 26-36. He should be in the MVP talk right now for 299 yards, 1 touchdown. Justin Jackson for Melvin Gordon had a big game. James Conner got hurt in that game too. He had 8 carries, 63 yards, and a touchdown. As the Chargers moved to 9-3 overall. Steelers moved to 7-4-1 overall. Another injury concern. 6-5 Washington was at 5-6 Philadelphia. Colt McCoy broke a fibula too, so Washington might be done, but Mark Sanchez is going to start the rest of the way. Adrian Peterson had a big 90-yard touchdown, but he didn't even get to 100 yards. He had 9 carries, 98 yards, and a touchdown. They were up 10-7 early in the game. Philly won 28-13. Golden Tate, 7 receptions, 85 yards. He got going. He had a touchdown. Carson Wentz got going too, 27-39, 306 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Looks like Sam Darnold might not start again this week. And the Eagles are 6-6, and the Redskins are 6-6 as well. I wanted to go over the standings real quick now, conference-wise and playoff-wise for the NFL. Oh man, big game. Patriots now 9-3 overall. They're a win away from clinching the AFC East. They're playing the Dolphins this week. We'll get into matchups next week. Dolphins are 6-6 in second. Bills are 4-8 in third. Jets are 3-9 in fourth. In the AFC North, it's a close one now. 7-4-1 at Steelers winning that one. Second, the Ravens are 7-5. The Bengals are 5-7 in third. Browns are 4-7-1 in fourth. In the AFC South, the Texans are now have 1 game away from winning the AFC South. They're 9-3. Colts are 6-6. Titans are 6-6, tied for second. And the Jags are 4-8 in last. The AFC West, this was a shootout game here. Shootout for it. The first place team are the Chiefs at 10-2. Chargers are 9-3. The Broncos are rising up. They're 6-6 in third. And the 2-10 Oakland Raiders are in last. The NFC East, the Cowboys are 7-5. Tied now for second head to head. Eagles are 6-6. Redskins are slipping. They're 6-6. Giants are fourth at 4-8. The NFC North, the Bears are 8-4. Second are the Vikings at 6-5-1. Packers are 4-7 and 1 in third. And the Lions are 4-8 in last. The NFC South, the Saints are, they're a game away from clinching the NFC South too. They're 10-2. The Panthers are 6-6. That's when the Panthers lost. The 5-7 are the Buccaneers, and 4-8 the last are the Falcons. And the clincher, we have our first clinching scenario. NFC West champions are now the Rams. They're 11-1. Seahawks are second at 7-5. Cardinals are third at 3-9. And the 49ers are 2-10. I'll go over my preview next week for next week's matchups. For week 14, we got a few weeks to go here, guys. I don't know if it's going to be an upset Sunday again. December 6th, 4-8 Jacksonville at 6-6 Tennessee. I don't know if Jacksonville's defense will play like they did against Indy. Might be close. I feel like Tennessee's gonna win a close one. That's Thursday night. Oh man, I just said it, but I said it earlier. If you missed it, so Urban Meyer, big retirement, good coach, but he deserves retirement. I talked about it earlier. I missed that. You could watch that later. I'm talking about NFL right now. Oh, we also have a first quarter game. It's Connecticut's up 27-14 over Lafayette. That's on ESPNU with 7:47 left. But anyway, I like the Titans in that matchup. I said Urban Meyer earlier. You could watch my podcast once it gets live. The Jets are 3-9 at the 4-8 Bills. I like the Bills to beat the Jets in that one at 1:00. I think this is an upset game. 6-6 Carolina's at 4-7-1 Cleveland. Carolina's slipping. They can't stop anybody. I think Baker Mayfield's gonna have a redemption game. I feel like the Browns are gonna upset the Panthers this week. At 1:00, 2 disappointing teams. 4-8 Falcons are at the 4-7-1 Packers. Packers are one. I think the Packers will win a close one, surprisingly. I don't think these two teams are any good. This is a good game this week. 1:00. 7-5 Baltimore is at 10-2 Kansas City. I like Kansas City in a close game here. 1:00, 9-3 Patriots at the 6-6 Dolphins. I like the Patriots to win. That game's gonna be closer, then they'll pull away late and win the AFC East. At 1:00 also, the Saints are 10-2 at the 5-7 Buccaneers. I think the Saints eventually their only loss of the year, but I think it's going to be closer. Really close game, though. Winston's playing better. The Giants are 4-8, 6-6 Redskins. Sanchez starts. I think the Giants win a close one. It's Eli Manning marks Sanchez this week. I like the Giants, though, in a close game. At 1:00, I felt like Indy had a chance, but they're 6-6 at 9-3 Houston. I think Houston wins in a close one, then they pull away late. I like Houston this one. I didn't like how Indy played last week. This is a lock this week. 5-7 Bengals are at the 9-3 Chargers. No A.J. Green. No Andy Dalton. I like the Chargers in a blowout game. It's a 2.5 point spread, 14.5 spread. Oh, I think this game's gonna be a blowout too at 4:05. 6-6 Denver's at 2-10 San Francisco. I like Denver in a blowout. 4:25 games on Fox. 6-6 Philadelphia's at 7-5 Dallas. I like Dallas to beat Philadelphia in a close one, then they'll pull away late. At 4:25, 7-4-1 Steelers at the 2-10 Raiders. I like the Steelers in a blowout. They don't have James Conner though, but I like Steelers in a close one. 4:25. Probably get this one on TV this week. 4-8 Lions at the 3-9 Cardinals. I think the Lions win a close one, but they'll put them back from a late one. I'm surprised I say that, but I don't know. You never know with the Lions. They either blow it or they always blow it, or they either come back to win. At 8:20, this is a flex game Sunday night. 11-1 Rams are at the 8-4 Bears. I like the Rams in a close one, and that's Sunday night. It's a long trip though. I don't know if the Bears will bounce back. If Trubisky's going to be in there yet, I haven't heard yet. This is a big Monday night one. 6-5-1 Minnesota's at 7-5 Seattle. Seattle's a tough place to play at night. I like Seattle in that one. The conference basketball standings. I'll go over the rankings this week for men's basketball. We talked college football. I just talked my college preview. Big surprise there. Urban Meyer retired, and Ryan Day's the head coach. I already said it earlier, so I think Urban Meyer, what a great coach. And you can watch it earlier about my coaching previews and stuff. I'll do my bowl matchups next week. We got the ACC network launching next year. That's a new channel. The rankings this week. I'll go over the AP coaches poll for this week. Yeah, or AP top 25. Gonzaga's 8-0. They moved to there for first. Second's Kansas at 6-0. They had a struggle against Kansas. Duke was third. They're 7-1. Virginia, they killed IU last week. Virginia's 7-0. They beat a 24th ranked Maryland team. That helps them. 5th ranked Michigan, they're 8-0. They moved 2 spots up. They beat North Carolina and Purdue back to back. 6th ranked Nevada was 8-0. They struggled against USC, but they won. 7th was Tennessee. They are 6-1. They lost to Kansas earlier this year. 8th ranked Auburn 6-1. Kentucky's not at 7-1. They've won 7 straight since losing to Duke. MSU 6-2, 10th ranked. They lost to Louisville last week, but they beat a big Iowa team this week. They're 10th ranked. Florida State 6-1. They beat Purdue. 12th ranked Wisconsin is 7-1. They beat NC State team. 13th ranked Texas Tech. They're 7-0. North Carolina's 14th ranked. They're 6-2. They lost to Michigan. 15th ranked Virginia Tech was 6-1. They barely beat Penn State last week. Kansas State was 6-1. They lost to Marquette. They lost 4 spots. 17th ranked Buffalo 7-0. They're still undefeated. 18th ranked Iowa 6-1. They lost to Michigan State big. Oh yeah, MSU beat Rutgers too last week. Big Ten play started. 19th ranked Ohio State was 7-1. Arizona State's 7-0. Villanova's back in the rankings. They are 6-2. Mississippi State's 6-1. Maryland's 7-1. Nebraska's 7-1. And Furman, they beat Villanova early this year. They're 8-0. Purdue, Syracuse, Marquette, Iowa State, Texas, Creighton, St. John's, Houston, NC State, IU, Arizona, Louisville, Clemson, TCU, Radford, Oregon, Arkansas, UCLA, Notre Dame, Florida, Boston College, Oklahoma, and Davidson. They all got votes. Texas, Oregon, and Purdue all dropped from the rankings. Clemson in the coaches poll, if you count that. I wanted to go over last week's matchups from Tuesday. So let's see. I'm trying to go back to last week's matchups. Hopefully. Yeah, here we go. I'll go back to Tuesday's matchups. I normally do a Tuesday one. I did the Wednesday one today just because I had a test yesterday. Tuesday's matchup last week, Duke won 90-69. Nevada beat Loyola Chicago 79-65. This is last Tuesday, the 27th. Louisville beat MSU 82-78 in overtime. Virginia Tech beat Penn State. Penn State beat Virginia Tech. My bad. Penn State won 63-62. Iowa barely beat Pittsburgh 69-68. Wisconsin won 79-75. Look over the last week's big matchup. Cincy won 105-49 over Arkansas Pine Bluff. Notre Dame beat Illinois 76-74. Let's see. Baylor won against South Carolina State 63-57. OU beat North Texas 73-57. Those are the big matchups from last Tuesday. Last Wednesday's matchup was the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Oh wait, that's just live today, Wednesday. I want last Wednesday, the 28th of November. Virginia beat Maryland, like I said, 76-71, 4th against 24th. Tennessee beat Eastern Kentucky 95-67. 7th ranked Michigan beat 11th ranked North Carolina 84-67. Florida State barely beat Purdue 73-72, 15th against 19th. Upset game, Syracuse beat Ohio State, 60th ranked Ohio State, 72-62. That's another big ranked versus unranked upset. Xavier beat Miami of Ohio 82-55. West Virginia beat Rider 92-78. Went for more matchups. Vermont beat George Washington 69-53. Rutgers beat Miami 57-54. Central beat Sam Houston 81-55. Toledo beat North Alabama 80-59 last Wednesday. And Green Bay beat NIU 85-83. Let's see here. Creighton beat Montana 98-72. Northwestern beat Georgia Tech 67-61. USC beat Long Beach State 75-65. This is last Thursday. Or last Wednesday. Last Thursday's matchups, 29th. Alabama lost UCF 70-64. Oh, there's a tweet. Not a lot of good Thursday matchups. Buffalo beat Milwaukee 96-77. Last Friday's matchup, conference play for the Big Ten started. Michigan State beat Rutgers 78-67. 22nd ranked Wisconsin and 14th ranked Iowa. Wisconsin won 72-66. Texas beat Radford. Actually, Radford upset Texas, 17th ranked Texas, 62-59. Didn't see that one. 25th ranked Mississippi State beat Dayton 65-58. Vermont beat Townsend 70-64. Central lost to TCU 89-62. And this was in the Viking Stadium. Minnesota beat Oklahoma State 83-76. Let's see Saturday's matchups. Gonzaga beat Creighton 103-92. It's a tough one for Kansas. They beat Stanford in overtime 90-84. Duke beat Stenson 113-49. Nevada beat USC 73-61. Michigan 7th ranked beat 19th ranked Purdue 76-57. Marquette upset Kansas State 83-71. Kentucky beat UNC Greensboro 78-61. Villanova won against LaSalle 85-78. Texas Tech beat Memphis 78-67. Houston upset 18th ranked Oregon 65-61. Let's see here. IU beat Northwestern 68-66. This is all Saturday matchups. I thought that was a Sunday matchup, Oregon Houston. That must be a replay. Xavier beat Oakland 73-63. Louisville beat Seton Hall 70-65. Other big matchups this week, I'm looking here. Ole Miss beat UL Monroe 83-60. EMU lost to Northeastern 81-67. Vanderbilt lost to NC State 80-65. Temple beat St. Joe 77-70. Cincinnati beat UNLV 65-61. Yale beat Miami 77-73. Syracuse won 63-55 over Cornell. BYU lost to Weber State 113-103. Washington State lost to New Mexico State 69-63. California lost to St. Mary's 84-71. Those are the big Saturday matchups. Sunday matchups. Let's see here. The second, 6th ranked Tennessee beat Texas A&M CC 79-51. 6th ranked Ohio State beat Minnesota 79-59. And Nebraska beat Illinois. They're ranked now 75-60. Washington won 67-63 over UC Santa Barbara. UCLA won 82-58 over Loyola Marymount. Those are big matchups this week. Monday matchups that happen. Some ranked matchups. Virginia beat Morgan 83-45. 18th ranked Iowa lost to Michigan State 90-68. Florida State beat Troy 83-67. 12th ranked Wisconsin beat Rutgers 69-64. Georgetown beat Liberty 88-78. Georgia won 92-75 over Texas Southern. Vermont beat George Mason 72-67. And A&M beat Northwestern State 80-59. Tuesday matchups. Let's see here. Kansas beat Wofford 72-47. Michigan won 62-60 over Northwestern. UNC Asheville and Auburn. Auburn won 67-41. Mississippi State won 90-77 over McNeese. And Furman won 98-77 over Elon. IU won a thriller last night, 64-62 over Penn State. Providence won against Boston College overtime 195. Clemson won 65-60 over St. Peter's. Syracuse beat Northeastern 72-49. Oklahoma beat Notre Dame in New York 85-80. Miami lost to Penn. Miami's struggling. They've lost to Yale and Penn. They lost 89-75. Dayton won 98-59 over Detroit. Davidson won 98-81 over Winthrop. Looking here. Central beat Youngstown State 194-3 overtimes. Cincinnati beat North Kentucky 78-65. Let's see. Alabama lost to Georgia State. They were not invincible in basketball. They lost 83-80. Houston won 79-56 over Lamar. Marquette beat UTEP 76-69. And West Virginia lost to Florida 60-56 in New York City. Tonight's matchups, I stated Lafayette, UConn are live. Ohio, Xavier's live at the moment. I said Hartford and Duke, VMI at Virginia Tech, Ohio State at Illinois. Navy's at Delaware later. Central Arkansas at Louisville later. I have Ohio's at Wright State. Arkansas State's at Texas Tech later. VCU's at Texas. Nebraska's at Minnesota later. I already previewed some of those matchups. TCU's at SMU at 10 o'clock later tonight in Dallas. Washington's at Gonzaga. San Francisco at California. Big matchups for tonight. I already said some of the matchups. Thursday matchups. Tomorrow night, Maryland 23rd ranks at Purdue on Big Ten Network at 7 p.m. Iowa State's at Iowa. 18th ranked Iowa at 8 p.m. on FS1. Charlotte's at Wake Forest at 7 p.m. Those are the big Thursday matchups. Friday matchups I'm looking here. Oral Roberts at Missouri on SC Network at 7. TCU's at USC at FS1 at 9:30. UMass at Providence at 7 p.m. and Nevada 6th ranked at Arizona State 20th ranked at the Staples Center. Yeah, it's two games at the Staples Center actually. New Mexico's playing St. Mary's here at 7 p.m. Must be a tournament. On Saturday's matchup, South Carolina's at Michigan at noon, 5th ranked. 9:30 Kentucky's playing Seton Hall at Madison Square Garden on Fox. Michigan State's playing at Florida on CBS at noon. CBS starts their CBS or TV preview. DePaul's at Northwestern at noon on Big Ten Network. Pittsburgh's at West Virginia at ESPN2 at noon. Wichita State's at Oklahoma and ESPNU in Oklahoma City. Grambling's at UCF. UWeb's at Memphis at 1 o'clock. Let's see here. St. Joseph's at Villanova, 21st ranked on FS1. On Saturday, BYU's playing Utah in Salt Lake City at 2 o'clock. Xavier's playing at Cincinnati on ESPN2, big rivalry game. ULV's at Illinois at 2 p.m. on Big Ten Network. Western Michigan's at Youngstown State at 2 o'clock. Colgate's at Penn State at 2 o'clock. Louisville's at Indiana at 2:30 in Indiana. Not a neutral site game. Surprisingly, not a conference game. Purdue Fort Wayne's at Miami of Ohio at 2. Let's see here. Georgetown's at Syracuse at 3:30 on ESPN. That's a good game. Buffalo's playing at St. Bonaventure at 4 o'clock. Mississippi State's playing Clemson at Newark on ESPN2 in New Jersey. Loyola Chicago's at Maryland at 4 o'clock. I'm looking for other matchups here. Valparaiso's at George Washington at 4 o'clock. Kansas State's playing 16th ranked at Tulsa at 4:30. Furman's 25th ranked at South Carolina at Upside. Southern Utah's at Central Michigan at 4:30. Northern Illinois at Butler at 4:30 in FS1. 12th ranked Wisconsin at Marquette at 5 on Fox. That's a rivalry game. More basketball games this week than anything. Creighton's at Nebraska. 24th ranked Nebraska at 6 o'clock. Boston College at Texas A&M at 6 o'clock. 11th ranked Florida State's playing UConn and Newark as well. In New Jersey, that must be a tournament too. Omaha's at Oregon at 8 o'clock. Dayton's at Auburn at 8:30. New Mexico State's at Kansas at 2nd ranked Kansas on ESPN2 at 8:30. San Diego State's at California at 10:30. Also in Los Angeles, Pauley Pavilion, Notre Dame's at UCLA at 10:30 at night. Sunday matchups I'm looking here. Let's see. South Carolina State's at Virginia Tech at 1 o'clock on ACC Network. Arizona's at Alabama at 1 on ESPN. Florida A&M's at Georgia Tech at 2 o'clock. VCU's at Virginia at 1:30. Ball State's at Evanston at 2 o'clock. Tennessee's 7th ranked against Gonzaga at 1 o'clock. That's at 3 o'clock on ESPN. That's in Phoenix. That's a good top 10 shootout. Purdue's at Texas at 6 o'clock. Two ranked teams that just lost. Also in Phoenix, 6th ranked Nevada's playing Grand Canyon at 5:30. Seattle's at Washington. Montana State's at Washington State 7 to 9 o'clock respectively. Southern's at Iowa State. And Monday's matchups 4 we'll do on Tuesday podcast. Not a lot of Monday ones. Moorhead's at Marshall. That's about it for Monday. Not a lot of good Monday matchups next week. I'll go over my NBA standings really quick. And NHL standings really quick. And first ranked team in the Eastern Conference, 20-5 are the Raptors. 15-7 are the Bucks. 17-8 are the 76ers. 13-8 are the Pistons. 5th ranked Pacers are 14-10 tied with the Celtics are 6 at 13-10. Magic are 12-12. Hornets are 11-12. Teams outside of it, Wizards are 10-14. The Heat are 9-14. Nets are 8-17. Knicks are 8-17 tied with them. Cavs are 14 or third worst, 5-18. Hawks are 5-19. The Bulls are last 5-20. They fired Fred Hoiberg. By the way, the Western Conference, the first team, the Nuggets, are tied with the Clippers at 16-7. Each third are the Thunder at 15-7. Fourth are the Warriors at 16-9. They're struggling. Fifth are the Lakers at 14-9. The Grizzlies are 13-9. Seventh are the Mavericks at 12-10. The Trailblazers are struggling. They're 13-11 and 8th. Kings are right outside at 9th at 12-11. Timberwolves are 12-12 and 10th. The Jazz are 12-13, and so are the Pelicans at 12-13. The Rockets are still struggling at 11-12, and so are the Spurs at 11-13. I'm surprised by that. And the worst team, the Suns at 4-20. The NHL big fights between especially the Red Wings and Bruins had a huge fight. I think that was a big one. I hit the wrong button. But they had a big brawl, I think, Saturday night I was noticing. That was big in the NHL. Biggest brawl I've seen all year. The standings for also tonight, Edmonton's playing St. Louis at 8 on ABC Sports Network, 10:30. Chicago's playing Anaheim, and Carolina's playing San Jose tonight. The standings for the NHL, let's see, 21-7 are the Lightning leading the Atlantic. 28 Maple Leafs are second. Sabres are 17-8. The Bruins are 14-9. Canadiens are 13-10. Red Wings are 12-12. 11-10 are the Panthers, and 12-13 are the Senators. Metropolitan 15-9 Capitals. Blue Jackets 15-10. Islanders 13-10. Rangers are 13-12. Hurricanes are 12-10. Penguins are 11-10. Flyers are 11-12. Devils are 9-12. In the Western Conference Central, Predators are 19-8. The Avalanche are 16-7. The Jets are 17-8. The Stars are 15-10, tied with the Wild at 15-10. The Blackhawks are 9-14. The Blues are 9-13. In the Pacific, the 17-9 Flames, 14-10 Ducks, 13-10 Sharks, 15-13 Knights, 13-11 Coyotes, 13-12 Oilers, 11-16 Canucks, and 10-17 Kings at the moment. Those are the NHL standings right now. We'll go over stuff next week. I'll preview more coaching changes, MLB changes that happen. What happened in the? I'll preview my poll predictions. What happened in the NFL? So it might be start to get shorter. More college basketball matchups. Maybe some NBA matchups if I get into it. And thank you very much. You have a good one. Next Tuesday, guys. By the way.